Today I'm in Napa Valley to visit one of the most iconic wineries, the Charles Krug Winery. I'm meeting Peter Mondavi, a third-generation vintner who runs the winery alongside his father, Peter Sr., and his brother, Mark. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Kristy. How are you doing?
Oh, great. It's so good to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, welcome to our family winery.
Well, I've heard that this is the oldest winery in the Napa Valley. Is that right?
That's correct. It's founded by Charles Krug, a Prussian immigrant, in 1861, making it the oldest winery in Napa Valley.
1861. Now it's owned by your family.
Yeah, my grandparents, who immigrated from Italy in 1908, settled here in California, and then purchased the winery in 1943. Now we're moving into the fourth generation.
And I think I read that they paid $75,000 for it. Is that correct?
That is correct. $75,000 for 150 acres and these grand old buildings in the Charles Krug brand.
Well, this certainly is a gorgeous building that we're standing next to. What is it called?
This is called the Redwood Cellar because it housed our redwood tanks. And it was built in 1872 by Charles Krug as his winery.
Love to see inside.
Sure. Well, welcome. Let's come on in.
Okay, thank you. The Redwood Cellar is a registered historical landmark in California, a treasure in Napa Valley. Charles Krug is credited with opening the first wine tasting room in this region, creating a tradition that has endured as long as his winery. This tasting room is spectacular.
Well, thank you very much. We opened it up in November of 2013. The first event was celebrating my dad's 99th birthday. And the designer here is Howard Backen, and we wanted to retain the rich history here of this winery and this building. And so some of the things we've done here is the backdrops here, all the wood on either side here is the redwood from our redwood tanks that were housed in this structure for like 60 years.
Oh, they used to be in this space?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, cool. And I noticed that there's a very distinctive lighting fixture in here.
We do. It's a very unique one. It's a bit of an antique. It's one that Howard Backen and his group found. It was actually a Russian buoy, a round steel buoy that was cut in half and a light put inside.
Since this is called the Redwood Cellar, are there any redwood tanks left?
Yes, there are. And out of 172 tanks originally installed here, there's one left.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Peter, this is the last tank out of 172?
That's correct. It is the last tank out of 172.
And it looks huge. I would guess you could put about 10,000 gallons in there.
That's a great guess. It's a little under 10,000 gallons, a little over 9,000.
And how old is it?
This tank is about 70 years old, 1944, the first vintage the family produced here in the winery.
That's amazing. And so you keep it here to show the history?
Yes, we have such a rich history. This is a little iconic piece for that to represent that history. That rich history is prevalent around the winery. Peter Mondavi Sr., the family patriarch, celebrates his 100th birthday this year.
It's important to be in love with the business, and let's face it, we're all of our family members are very much inclined on the wine business, and as I say, our whole family, all of our families are in love with the wine business.
This pioneering vintner studied at Stanford. I also read that you spent a little time at Berkeley, which is where I went to school. And what did you do when you were at UC Berkeley?
Berkeley, I did the research on cold fermentation.
That's amazing.
And that was quite a revelation. I mean, and today, I mean, it's a common thing. I mean, but at that time, no one ever thought about cold fermentation. And I did the research under Professor Krug.
That is just remarkable.
And it was a natural. I mean, actually today, we didn't think that much of it at that time, but I'll tell you this, without cold fermentation of the whites, you don't have the quality.
No, you changed the face of the
industry.
industry.
The whole face is changed,
yeah, that's remarkable. What an incredible achievement.
At that time, we never realized that how important it was. We just did it.
Peter tells me another thing his father is responsible for is bringing French oak wine barrels to winemaking in California.
At that time, barrels were around $35 a barrel. Okay. And we couldn't afford it. Oh. So we bought a couple, 2 seasons we bought the French oak barrels, but then we couldn't afford the price. I mean, $35.
I'm
Of
sure
course,
that was a lot.
Today there's $1,000, $2,000 a barrel. So it's unbelievable. I mean, the price of the barrels nowadays.
Just think where we'd be today if we could pay $35 per French oak barrels.
Peter and his family have always been driven by the pursuit of quality in the wines they make.
So what do you think about this cab? It's pretty nice.
Doing very, very nice. Of course, this is selected right out of our best lots.
Yeah, we're going to select.
And actually, you're selecting from the vineyards too, I mean, now, right?
Yeah, different blocks.
Different block, different vines.
Different blocks, different vines, even parts
Different
of
clone.
blocks.
Oh, it's getting very, very picky-unish. I mean, in
Well,
order to get the quality.
Yeah. Well, you taught us that.
Yeah. Well, as I say, you want to make good wines, you have to have good grapes. Let's face it. And of course, early days, we weren't that involved with the soil, but I'll tell you this, the soil is very, very important
Yeah.
in the quality of the wine.
Yeah, well, that came with experience.
Yeah, that came from experience, is right.
Peter, I've heard so much about your wines now. I really can't wait to taste them.
Well, great. We're at the tasting bar. I'm going to invite Denise to help us out here. First sample will be our 2011 Vintage Selection Cabernet Sauvignon. First vintage of this is 1944, and this is our flagship Cabernet.
And I've heard it called a red stripe Cabernet, is that right?
That's correct. It does have a red stripe on here. It's always said Vintage Select from 1944. The red stripe came in late 50s, early 60s.
It matches the barrels.
It does, absolutely.
So,
So cheers.
cheers. It has a really lovely concentrated red fruit.
Yeah, that's what it is. Very concentrated, little hints of cocoa chocolate notes in it as well. So the fruit, it's estate bottled, so it comes from off of our own vineyards. A combination of vineyards from Howell Mountain and the Yountville area as well.
So all local.
All local, all our own vineyards.
And I like seeing local put in a bottle.
Absolutely. That's why we're in Napa Valley, in the heart of Napa Valley.
Tasting the Charles Krug wines, I'd say they're doing a really good job. Yet Napa Valley's sole remaining living legend says there's more to learn.
There's more room for more improvement, but I think we're really getting to the ultimate now as far as the quality.
A pursuit of quality in winemaking for generations to come with the Mondavi family, here at the Charles Krug Winery.